everyone. Uh, oh dear, what's that red bar at the top? Think we're good? We just recently got our router rebooted, so might be a couple of technical difficulties. I apologize in advance for that. If you saw the title of this live stream, I've got some very good news for you guys. And that's that I, I get to go to the Catholic Creator Conference from May 28th to the 30th. It technically goes from the 28th to the 31st, but then I double checked my calendar and I realized that I have a hangout with some friends on the 31st. So I'm completely cool with the idea of leaving early for the sake of a hangout. That is totally cool by me. Um, I'm excited to get a chance to possibly meet some people that know me from this channel. There's at least 2 people going that were from these live streams that are coming. Hello, Kevin. Glad you could be the first one in. The man of the hour. What happens the next hour? Then who's the next man is the question. How's my day going? My day is going phenomenal. After I just found out that I finally arranged my schedule and the logistics to be able to go to the Catholic Creator Conference. I am beyond pumped because I've been wanting to go to some kind of major Catholic event since like 2020, and the closest I've ever gotten was like Vacation Bible School, which it's all right, but very suited for younger audiences. The adults are kind of just there. Catholic what? The Catholic Creator Conference? I've never been to it, but from what I've heard, it's an opportunity for Catholic creators of anything from YouTube to Instagram to TikTok. Just anyone who's Catholic and uses social media is going to get together, have access to like special studios to make videos in more high quality, get some speeches. I believe there's Mass and Adoration and Reconciliation. It'll be at Franciscan University of Steubenville, which which I went there as a teenager. And that was the conference where I decided I was going to start telling more people about Jesus. So you could say that that was like the first step in my process towards being an evangelist. Oh man, that stinks that you got sinus infections. I have really bad allergies myself, not at the moment, but in general, just springtime to early summertime is just an absolute nightmare for my nose. Hope you start feeling better soon. Hopefully, this live stream can help cheer you up a little bit. In the meantime, is there anything else that's been going on with you, Kevin? Any video games you've been playing lately? I know I've been really into. I just got my review out for Tomodachi Life Livin' the Dream. I'm playing through the demo of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I just got past this really annoying snake monster. I think it's called like the Midgar Starspin or something like that. And the Switch 2 definitely struggles to run that game. There's a lot of popping, and it does look like the grass textures are kind of washed out a bit, but at the same time, it's playable, and that's what I care about more than anything. I realized that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a PlayStation 5 game, and so obviously the Switch 2 is about as powerful as a PlayStation 4. So technically, it ran Final Fantasy VII Remake better, but at the same time, one of my biggest complaints about Remake was that it was too cramped, and this game is anything but. You just started playing Donkey Kong Bonanza? Whoo boy, that's a good one. Have you seen my best games of 2025 video? Because if not, I'll let you be surprised about where I placed it, but it's somewhere on my top 10 of 2025. Oh, I love Bonanza so much. It does a good job of appealing to lots of different types of fans. You got me, who's more of a casual Donkey Kong fan, and even I was just like, "Oh wow, that is some great love for the franchise in there." And as a big fan of Grant Kirkhope, it was nice to see a lot of Donkey Kong 64 music in there. Well, I guess it seems like a lot because they have the DK rap and Rambi's theme at one point from Donkey Kong 64. And then, yeah, it seemed like a lot, but it actually isn't all that much. DK Island Swing is in there, but it's based on the version from Donkey Kong Country, not Donkey Kong 64. Oh, good. Glad to hear you've been loving it. It's not too sassy, or oh, sorry, not too easy. Unlike Mario, where there's coins everywhere. Yeah, yeah. No, I. Here's the thing about Donkey Kong Bonanza. I didn't really get into the digging a whole lot, so there were times when I probably could have upgraded myself better, and yet I chose not to. That being said, most of the game was pretty easy for me until I got to the final level. And that is when the game just started to go full on Donkey Kong Country difficulty. So don't let the game fool you if some of these bosses are cakewalks, because by the time you get to the finale, it'll just clobber you. In fact, I say this in my review, and again, I won't spoil anything, but I was on the verge of switching over to easy mode. I had one more try before I would run out of gold. And I said, if I lose this attempt, then I'm going to switch over to easy mode because this is just too hard. And that's the attempt where I beat it. And I felt so proud of myself because it was like when I beat the sand simulator, it just seemed so impossible. And then after I did it, it was like, Paul, look at you go. You can overcome almost anything. That's also how I felt when I beat one shot mode in Arzette the Jewel of Faramore, and when Ashley came back. I also felt kind of like that too. Cuz I have not had the best track record with people sticking around, but I have learned over the years that people in general don't have the best track record of people sticking around. So I've actually learned that I think I actually have a better track record than most people. And I didn't realize that until just this year. But generally speaking, a lot of my closest friends have stuck around since the beginning. Maybe not to the level that I expected, but to a good enough level, all things considered. Oh, what? The advice on Donkey Kong Bonanza? Yeah, just, yeah, some of the bosses can be easy until you get to the final one. Then things just get wild. So wild the Switch 2 can barely handle it because the frame rate drops like crazy. But I'm pretty sure in my review, I also said that I appreciate the frame drops because otherwise, I think that battle would have been too hard. I would have been like, how the heck am I supposed to see all this coming? But if the game can barely run it, then I have time to dodge the attacks. So I thought that was pretty cool. None of the critics will mention that. Speaking of critics, I've been noticing that they've been giving the new Tomodachi Life a lot of sevens, and I made sure to put out my review before I read anyone else's opinions. But I think a 7 is pretty reasonable. Like, yes, there's a certain novelty to being able to make the Mii's say whatever you want, and I mean whatever you want. There is literally no restrictions. But at the same time, it's a pretty simplistic, uh, kind of mundane game. It's more so the novelty of knowing who it is that's doing the mundane stuff that makes it funny. Like, I don't know, you get My Island, for example, where you have Professor Layton and Princess Hilda interacting with each other. That's funny. And it's also cool that you can give the Mii's different quirks to like personalize them. Like you can have Professor Layton bow to people because he's a gentleman. Which power ups are best off upgrading early? Ooh. Uh, Let me think about that for a bit because I like to be more on the defensive whenever I have like um super hard games. So like when I play Fire Emblem, usually the things I upgrade the most are like my healers, my knights, and my defensive stats. So I would say probably like get a lot of hearts. Sonar, I would say the sonar is only effective if you're like actively trying to 100% the game. There's only two instances that I can think of where the game just really wants a lot of gold out of you. But I would say like you can find gold pretty much anywhere in that game. So the sonar is not really that useful. So I would say hearts, punch power. Oh, and get new maneuvers as much as you can, like surf, for example, or better turf surf so that you can get around faster. Because if there's one thing I hate in games, it's slow moving protagonists. That's why when I played Deltarune, I really appreciated that Toby added a run button because that was one of my few things that I didn't like about Undertale. Was I just said, why does your character move so slowly? But thankfully in Deltarune, not only is there a run button, but the level design seems more compact. So even if you don't run, it feels like there's not as much empty space. And when there is empty space, because you have more characters in your party, it's not just a solo journey. Like people are talking to pass the time. And in general, I really love Deltarune, and I am so excited for the upcoming chapters. I think I'm not sure if I want to make a Catholic review just yet because things could change. But I am liking some of the ideas that chapter 4 presented. And just this general theme of like your decisions don't matter is just it's a really funny way to advertise a game. And personally, I wish more companies would be more forward about that and like I guess subvert your expectations by trying overly hard to tell you what the game is. Like I remember when I first played Doki Doki Literature Club. It said like, "Oh, this is a super unsettling game and you really better brace yourself." And it definitely does not give off that vibe when you first play it. And I also remember thinking like, okay, dating sims, dating in general is not really my thing, so I don't know if I'm going to like this all that much. And then the game just whoops on you near the second half and I'm like, okay, this is game of the year material now, especially when you get to the side stories. Now, I know people online were not too thrilled with the side stories. They said, oh, we wanted more jump scares, we wanted more gameplay. So the side stories are literally just reading, but they have such good music, and there's like new artwork, and the girls feel like the writing is like 10 times better. I get this. You're probably never going to believe this if you know me. I actually related to some of the stuff Yuri went through in the side stories, which I can't stand Yuri in the main game, but in the side stories, oh man, I was like, what's this? I'm actually crying at some of Yuri's side story moments. Like, this is hilarious. I'm not much of a crier when it comes to video games, but Dan Salvato and whoever he hired for the Plus version, just absolute legends in the writing department. Let me double check something. I think it's on YouTube's end, but let me just double check. All right. Okay, let's hope that that works. Cuz YouTube like YouTube tells me how many people are watching. I've learned not to take that number too seriously. But at the same time, like if my stream is crashing and buffering like crazy, I might just have to do it another time. But getting back to the Catholic Creator Conference real quick. I'm really excited to be able to have a chance to go back to Steubenville and like see how the place has changed. and I'm looking forward to meeting some people. It would be really cool if there were people that like knew me ahead of time and then like recognized me. That would be pretty cool. I might end up using the professional studio. The fact that it's Catholic is also really cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to try my best to go to Comic Con. But this just feels like it's the next best thing. Or I should say, like, the evolution of Comic Con. Because everyone there is going to be Catholic. And everyone there is going to be an adult. And I think from what the event organizer was telling me, it's not meant to be too much of a fan meetup. So he said, like, yeah, you probably won't have to worry too much about being like flocked by people, which I'm always grateful for. I like smaller crowds. And he said, like, there's only going to be a couple of hundred people at this event. So it'll be nice and small scale, approximately a third of the amount of people that were on each of my mission trips. I believe the most we ever had on one of my mission trips was 330 people. The least we ever had was maybe something like 250, I think. Usually it was 300, but there were off years every now and then. But I remember thinking that mission trip was a decent size. Like, 300 people sounds like a lot. But if you consider the other stuff I've chaperoned, it's actually pretty puny. Like, I've chaperoned a conference that has 2,000 people. And then I chaperoned another conference that had 25,000 people. So whenever I went on mission trips, having only 300 was like, ooh, this is so much easier to handle. And you could like actually get to know people on the mission trips too. I know. I'm talking about mission trips over and over again. But no one's stopping me, right? It's my live stream. And they know that, like, you got to talk about something that you like on these live streams, right? When I was talking to the organizer of the Catholic Creators Conference earlier today, I have to admit, I probably didn't show too much enthusiasm. I probably could have been a little more excited, but I think I was just in shock by this grand opportunity to be able to go to something that I wouldn't have even dreamed was possible. And I mean that in both the literal and the figurative sense. Like, there was a part of me ever since I started doing live streams more frequently that really wanted to have some kind of like Comic-Con-esque experience where I could get to know people on a personal level. But with this conference, it feels like it's better than that, because it's not all about me. Every single person there is some kind of creator. And so I could potentially meet someone that I know from YouTube. So it's possible that the roles could be reversed. It's possible that maybe not a whole lot of people know me, because my channel is relatively small by YouTube standards. I think by my standards, it's huge. Like, I remember there was a point where I was surprised that I got over 100 subscribers. It took me a long time to get that many subscribers, too. Like, I think the only reason I got as popular as I did for a while was because I was chaperoning a conference. And well, not just chaperoning. I was also I was assisting with planning it. And by assisting, I mean that it was planned by middle schoolers, and the adults kind of just supervised the planning. Like, we might say, like, oh, okay, there's a little typo there, or if they had like if they were confused. No one's responded to my stream running well, so I'm wondering, is something going on? Because YouTube also hasn't shown any difference in the numbers either. It says it's live. How do I tell what's accurate, what's not, is the big question. All right. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try rebooting the stream just to see what happens. Because I think there's an error on YouTube's end. And if it is, then I might have to rethink this strategy. But for now, thank you, Kevin, for showing up. Hopefully, people will show up the next time. And if not, then I might have less frequent streams than usual. So until hopefully in a couple of minutes, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye for now.